come from the actions that you take. And the actions that you take come from the decisions that you make. And the decisions that you make comes from your habits that you create. And the habits that you create comes from your mindset. In other words, how you think, how you speak, and how you act. So if you change your mindset, you're going to change the end results because they're all interlinked. And that's why when I do my coaching, consulting, corporate training, I always have a look at people's mindset, because sometimes we're so blinkered on the results that we may have missed something in a state of self-awareness and understanding that may trigger us or may sabotage us to stop focusing on what we want. And we get distracted by these other things as well. People annoying us, whatever it might be. And that energy of that thinking energy is a waste of time. So if you can focus directly on the goal and stay in that state of love, you're going to achieve it much quicker as well.
And is that easy? I mean, in the corporate world, is that easy too? Because this is a really new way of like mindset, and these topics that we're talking about is quite new, because stress is something that's always been there, but now there's such a shift in society right now, right? So everything is going faster, and everything in the technology and everything is going faster, and then the stress will be much more seen in if you look at professionally at workplace, because of it, because people are not into it, the digitalization or the whatever it is going on in the world right now. It is so much things that is going to change, that it will have some kind of stress in an organization, but this mindset is quite new, right? So is that something that you see as a challenge when you go through organizations, and then because CEO level perhaps they have the knowledge or not, but everybody in the organization doesn't have that knowledge, right? So the mindset, how do that what is the result of that? Is that on only CEO level, or is it also people all in an organization that can use this? I mean, getting into the mindset and change that.
Yeah.
How do you think about that? Is that your experience?
So Stina, there's mindset in terms of this positive thinking that we're talking about today has been around. I remember there's a book which was written by Florence Scovel Shinn called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And that was written in the 1920s. So there is, and even Benjamin Franklin adhered to it in his book, in his autobiography as well, which is going right back. So mindset has always been around there. It's just we haven't had the internet to be able to disseminate the information and the mindset and the ideas and the emotional intelligence across to people like we do now. So I've been doing this for 9 years in terms of actually coaching, consulting and training people. I've actually been all my working life, because I was into Tony Robbins, I was into Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which was written a long time ago. And, when you're into this kind of stuff and you lead by this kind of stuff, it comes through. I'm living, proof of this, because, in the investment management world, I was in the Times and the independent national newspapers for success in selling and success in growing businesses. And that comes down to having that very mindset and doing the stuff that I'm talking about now. So I'm living proof. There's many coaches out there who've gone out and got a coaching certificate and not lived it, not worked in the corporate world, not managed people, not been a success. They've just read all the books, been on all the courses, and they're regurgitating the stuff that they've just been taught. Whereas I actually have been there, done that, not just in the corporate world, but also in the sports world, playing to the highest level, coaching and captaining internationals, as I said, in hockey as well, which would be the equivalent of Premier League football. So my point being is, in terms of this mindset, it is around, it's been there for a long time. I teach people in terms of business. I talk about purpose. I talk about self-awareness, purpose-driven awareness, leadership. I talk about conscious leadership all the time, conscious communication. Emotional intelligence being one of the most highest important things for a leader, and that includes self-awareness, conscious communication, empathy, compassion, and self-motivation, self-regulation. All of those are things that basically, if people encapsulate them within their psyche of how they think, speak, act, and lead and communicate, they will find that the results that they have in business, in relationships, in life will be very different for them in a positive way.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, I think you are so amazing, everything it is to say. So I just want to keep on talking to you. But Do you think that is there something that you
Yes. How do we adapt to that and be
So-
part of it? Because do we harmonize ourselves, or do we like get into it? Do we like to have some kind of calm in it, because we have to be part of it? It's
Mhm.
there. So what are your thoughts on that in terms of human resilience in that case?
So I would say that I'm 47. So I went to high school when there was no